So, our next Ignite speaker, I've had the great opportunity to work with as well. So, the reason why I worked with a lot of these people, I was a RA, and she is currently an RA, and she has literally the sweetest soul. She is a junior and ecology major who not only likes to research nature, but research her own style. And she will speak to you on self-discovery with her talk, Redefining My Differences. You see, self-discovery is a beautiful experience, but it can be very difficult and very, very messy. But we must remember that to the questions of our lives, we are the answer. And to the problems of our lives, we are the solution. Give a warm round of applause to Carmela Buono. This is all you.
If you had to describe me with one word, it'd be curious. Ever since I was little, I've always had this passion for observing and exploring and learning about the world around me. And I did this wherever I went. So, for example, my 5th birthday. My whole family's around me, I'm having a great time. But if you look a little closer, you'll notice both sides of my family are sitting in different rooms. They're speaking different languages, and they look a little different, and they're eating different foods. But this is normal, right? It's how all families are. Around that time, in school, I was doing a heritage project. My friend Kelly talked about being Irish. My friend John talked about being Indian. So I went home and I asked my mom, what am I? She told me, Carmela, you're Vietnamese and you're Italian. I didn't know how to take that. How could I be 2 things when everyone else was just one? And the more I thought about it, I kind of just wanted to be one thing, just like all my friends. I wanted to fit in. And it was in that moment I felt this crushing pressure to choose. Be more Vietnamese or be more Italian, and then I would have that single identity that I had strived for. But that pressure didn't stop there. It kind of just spread throughout the rest of my life. It affected how I acted, the friends I made. This pressure was probably the worst in middle school. You see, the first week of school, I learned something very important. I did not know how to dress myself. See, I went to private school, and I wasn't used to getting ready in the morning. I wasn't used to doing my hair. I wasn't used to putting outfits together. And I didn't realize this was a big deal until I noticed I was eating alone at lunch. And so I came to the harsh realization that the way you dress and the way you look really affects how you make friends. But I didn't let that stop me. I made it into my own little, I guess you would say, experiment, and I did my own research. I read all the literature, so fashion magazines. I looked at what all the cool girls were wearing, and it started to work. I made friends, I was fitting in, and I was happy, right? But that's the question. Was I happy? Because the clothes were kind of uncomfortable, they were tight-fitting. I couldn't really be interested in things I was always interested in because I needed to fit in. And I started to notice that I was, losing myself. I was being buried under all of that hair and makeup and clothing just to fit in with a group of people that I didn't really know, quite frankly. And how was it that I was so good at observing the world around me, the people around me, what was going on, but I was neglecting one of the most important parts, what was going on inside of me. And when I did look inside of me, I noticed that pressure to look pretty, be cool, not be biracial, I was creating that pressure. No one else was doing that. And once I realized that, I could free myself, and I did. I started to experiment with how I dressed myself, so I stole my dad's sweaters. I started to put feathers in my hair because I like the contrast. I started to wear floral boots because floral boots. And this started working for me. I felt good, and I started to notice a few things. The first was my style was a little non-conventional. I kind of stood out from the crowd. That's okay, because I started to get compliments here and there, and I felt good, and I found something that I was so passionate. But the most important thing I noticed was my friends and family still cared about me. And see, I was taking those differences that I was so scared to show people, And I wasn't letting them control my life anymore. I was redefining them myself. I couldn't change the fact that I was biracial. I could change the way I looked at it. So I took it even further. I took a fashion class. I learned how to sew. I started to tailor my own clothes. I started to thrift before Macklemore. And this became my style, my fashion. It became a part of my identity. And don't get me wrong, no one's perfect. I have good and bad days. I still struggle with these differences. But the most important thing is finding that balance and finding that comfort within yourself. So if I could have everyone today take away something, it would be sometimes you need to look inside yourself. Sometimes you need to find that that big pressure to not be different comes from yourself. And when you realize that, you can free yourself. So today, I stand before you, a girl afraid of her differences, but I don't let them control me. I'm redefining them with style. My question for you is, how will you? Thank you.